Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a really fun one. As you can tell by the title, it's another chat video. I got to sit down and talk to Cooper Andrews. I did an interview with him a few years ago. I think about 3 years at this point. But it was in the middle of season 10. So it was so good getting to catch up with him again, getting to hear all the stories from set. All the... That's why I love doing videos like this, because these videos are more chats than they are interviews. It's more just letting the person who I'm speaking with, just letting them talk, you know, because you don't get to see that a whole lot when it comes to like press junkets and stuff like that, because you know, cast a film and TV, they got to get in there, they got to answer their few questions, and then that's it. They're generally very short experiences. That's why I know I'm so lucky to get to do these kind of longer style videos where I get to talk and hear amazing stories that you mightn't get to hear in a regular interview. So yeah, I just want to say thank you so much to Cooper for sitting and talking and being so graceful with his time. It was an absolute fucking blast. Just to warn you guys, there are some spoilers in this video, so if you're not up to date with The Walking Dead, if you're not completely up to episode 23, then there will be timestamps throughout. Warning. I think I'll warn you guys when talks of 23 is about to begin, but generally tread with caution. Consider this your warning. Don't yell at me if you get something spoiled. We discuss moments from the most recent episode, which is episode 23. So, like I said, you're warned. The link to my Twitter and my Instagram is also down below, where you guys can connect with me, say hello. The link to my Patreon is also down below, where I do a whole bunch of different reaction videos. I do 2 uploads a day. Wide range of stuff going on over there. So the link's below if you'd like to check that out. I'd appreciate it. And yeah, let's go with the Cooper chat.
Does it work?
I can see you and I can hear you.
This is my backyard in Georgia.
Oh my god.
Oh, whoops. Where there's earthquakes.
Oh my god, that's your backyard.
Yeah.
Damn, man.
This is Georgia life. Georgia life. This is not even a Hollywood. This is not a Hollywood thing. This is just straight up, like, you know, I have like school teachers on my street. I love it here.
Yeah, it looks so peaceful. Oh my god, it looks wet though and kind of cold. Is it cold there?
No, actually, it's really warm. I thought it was gonna be nice and cool out, but it's not. It's warm, but it's got a nice little glow. It was cold a few days ago, and now we're like 80s.
I was gonna say it looks like it's raining. I think your webcam is smudged, or...
Oh, maybe. That's quite possible.
That's why I thought it was raining. That's why I said to you, you guys have rain? I don't know how you deal with the heat over there, though. I'm from Ireland. I went over to LA during the summer. The heat over there.
It's bad, but I would take that LA heat any day.
Oh, no,
like,
man.
Any day, yeah.
There is no moisture in the air. There's nothing. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. The moisture is what makes it, which is what makes us all so sweaty. Like 100 degrees and 100 humidity. It's like the worst forecast we'd ever see.
Well, I'm used to that.
Being something.
That's what we get in Ireland. We get about 90% humidity all the time, so that's my functioning level. So Georgia sounds fine, but LA was, oh my god.
Oh.
I was fighting for my life in those streets. It's ridiculous. Okay, so...
Ireland sounds nice, though. I've always wanted to go.
Dude, you have got to get your ass over here. We have conventions here. I think we have 2 a year. We have Dublin Comic Con, I want to say spring and summer. And I think Polly came this year. And I think Ryan's coming next year. Dude, you got to get over at some point.
Yeah, it won't be from a lack of trying. I would love that. That sounds amazing.
Ah, and you're already used to the weather.
Yeah, I'm dressed. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to fly out there.
So, I have some questions about season 10, some of the bonus episodes, some of 11, and other kind of fun stuff.
Wonderful.
Right. So, we'll start with, I think the last time we chatted, it was around the season 10 mid-season premiere or the finale. Somewhere around there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know. That was a while back. And it was...
I mean, that's like years ago. And it's so weird because this is season 11, but like season 10, we shot like in, 2019. When I think about it, that's like 3 years ago. It's so weird.
So much insanity towards the end of that season. You had the cave situation where you had your You had your little Hordor moment where you got to hold the little plank while everyone else escaped, and there was a hot second. I thought Jerry wasn't going to make it, but he pulled through. We had a certain doom.
That little plank, by the way, was a cave. That little plank was a cave. I just have to say that. Okay, continue.
What was it, by the way? Was it just like a plank of wood or a bit of tree or?
It was a beam. It was like a giant, or was it a? It was like a loggy beam. I just remember it being like a big thing of wood,
Yeah.
like this, and it just digging in and screaming. I was screaming all day, getting dirt through my nose and coughing it out between takes.
Well, hey man, carrying the show on your shoulders for those few moments is
A
hard, but come on,
conversation.
someone's got to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
um,
I drew the straw.
but you had the moments in a certain doom as well. That episode was just it was nuts. There was, looking back on it, is so beautiful and which kind of tormented to say, I know, because you had the herd going over the edge. There was so much chaos, but one of the moments that sticks out regarding season 10 with Jerry for me is probably the bonus diverged, because
Yeah,
we're used to seeing Jerry be the guy that like jumps into action, like you said, like, oh, I can hold it up, I got it. If anyone needs help with anything, you're the first one in there. But I don't know, there was a kind of softer side shown to him where Carol is just feeling a bit lost, and Jerry gives her the task of, I could go for some soup, and then when he swings by the next day, and that what he says to her about a friend being someone that thinks you're perfect, dude, that was it. We have seen a softer side to Jerry, but that side in particular, the moment with him and Carol, this, it's awkward, it's clunky, it's, listen, I don't have a poker face, okay, I'm just here to check on you.
right.
So what was that like, bringing out that side of Jerry as opposed to the action man that jumps in whenever he's needed?
That's always I love that, the action man. That's what's always in my head, is that softer side.
Hmm.
Which Jerry, every fight hates it. He doesn't like killing. There's no thrill to it. There's no. It's why I don't like. I always enjoyed being more of a protector than an attacker. More. And I think a big thing I think it was showing like what the kingdom was like. Every time we've met Jerry, it's always, we're at war with somebody, it's always a battle, something's wrong. And then during the peace times, I think that's when Jerry's happiest. And I think that's also during the time he can look out for people best. So there's a few things about that episode. Um, One, that was the first of the COVID episodes. That was the first one we actually shot. It started with that.
Oh, no way.
And then it came out as the fifth. Yeah, because it's just the three of us. It was me, Melissa, and Norman.
Yeah.
But we're all,
Spaced
scattered,
out.
and it was very like, it was the first one, and it just seems like, okay, we're gonna test this out. But
Yeah.
the thing about it though is like, Jerry and our characters weren't in that part of the pandemic. So when we actually hugged, that felt amazing. It was like, oh, another person, and.
Yeah.
But a lot of those feelings of Carol's such an isolated character, right? And Jerry has seen that side of her. He was holding a cave because of a decision. When we think about that time jump, there was a 6-year time jump. She was in the kingdom. Jerry got to know her. He got to learn who this person was. They became these really close friends. And so he can tell when he's checking on her because he's afraid she's going to spiral. He's afraid that she might go do something very Carol-like,
Yeah.
or that one side, like action has to be handled, and it's, he sees her pain. He knows it, he knows why, there's this guilt that she's going to have. I've always played my character as someone who every day was a gift, every new day was a gift. It's almost impossible for Jerry to sort of carry that weight on him on a day-to-day basis. It's not that he's able to let things go, but I've always played him as this character of hope. And it's like, look, the fact that any of us are alive, after all of this is a miracle in itself. So appreciate it. We can't, we've all had days where it was going perfectly and then we lost everything. We have to just keep, look the bright side. I mean, it's very similar to the Yet I Smile. because they do. They keep, both. That's what the kingdom is. It's like we created this beautiful eye of a place to keep that hope. And I think even though the kingdom's gone, it's still that energy of what it was to us, and we try and share that. And so when someone like Melissa, Carol, when she's going down that dark path, when she's diverging, that's where it's important for Jerry to kind of keep her grounded, So it was a simple episode, but the what was being said in it was so important. I thought, like the not saying. It was just, I mean, I'm always big on Jerry. His words don't quite cover his actions. His actions speak louder than his words every time, and that's my favorite part about Jerry. He is acting man, but in the sense of like you're gonna see how he feels, and he's not just gonna you talk about it. And I feel like a lot of our characters, especially our original, we have to have proof. It's a show, not tell, kind of thing. That's how we hear all these. We like coming to like some of our more recent episodes, like colorful propositions. Like like from Hornsby, and it's like your actions speak louder than your words, man. And that's. And I think that's why that connection's there. It's all about action with everybody. It's like you're saying this, but your actions are, saying the opposite. And I think that's why there's an importance in that. It's like, what are we actually doing versus what we're saying in that episode.
But I thought that was such a beautiful moment, particularly for him. I didn't know that was one of the first that he did. It must have been weirdly reflective.
A lot of that was real.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Yeah, it was just because you look at it. I mean, just with the beginning of everything, since 2020, life becomes. We really look at life in a different way. Like it becomes, when we're faced with sad stuff, it becomes more precious, and we realize that. And I think that's what we're like. That moment, I think, is what it was. It was just to show that, these moments don't have to be as rare as they need to be, but we took them for granted in a way, and I think it shows that it's like every day is a gift. We have to really, so I think a lot of that was on our mind.
Yeah, even something as simple as a hug could be. Yeah, you're kind of, you're not freezing, but you're kind of glitching every couple of seconds, and I don't know, is that on my end? Because I know it's raining where I am.
How dare I? I feel good. My stuff looks powerful, but it could be.
Yeah, see, you're kind of glitching a bit. Well, I don't know if it is you or me, so I don't want to put the blame on you if it ain't you.
That's me sticking. Okay, hold on. Let's go for a tour.
Oh man.
Here's a tour of my backyard, everybody.
You have a little piece
I just
of
like
paradise.
to play in the creek.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's just nice, the cast they'd come over a bunch and we'd all take this chair with me. Dun, dun, dun. This is gonna be. I hope this is the fast forward part. How's this?
Well, you're not sticking at all for the time being.
Yeah, is that a commercial break? We're back, and we're back.
I've forgotten what we were talking about. Oh yeah, so we were talking we were talking about season 10 with the bonus. So moving forward then into the more recent with season 11. Look, with any show, you're never going to be ready for the end. You're never going to be happy when something comes to a close. If you're like me, I've got issues, and I don't even like saying goodbye to people when we're parting ways. But being faced with the fact that this is coming to an end, and you have an end date, you have an end goal. What was the vibe like for you going in? Did it change your approach to anything that you did, or were the vibes just different for you?
The vibes were different for sure. Like I was on the show, I really did. Like I always assumed every episode was my last alive episode, So it's I play it that way constantly, So it's over the years, I'm just like I'm gonna appreciate it for what it is. That doesn't mean I wouldn't get like, I'd always tell people like, "Oh, sorry for being cranky," and then people would be like, "You were cranky?" I'm like, "Never mind, I was cranky today," you know.
Yeah.
But what was good about it, knowing that this was our last season, and then knowing it was like a 13, 14 month thing, was sort of like, okay, we gotta, it felt like your last year of anything, so it felt like appreciate every moment, enjoy every scene for whatever it is we're doing. Um, I could say it now. I could say it now confidently, but in every episode, definitely every episode this year, I don't know if they used them all, but I tried to incorporate a spin, physically, literally a spin in every scene that I do, and not every scene that I do like once per episode. So I just thought that'd be.
Like
So I think that's the one thing I
a
did
physical
differently this
twirl.
year. Like a literal spin, yes. Like whether it was slow, whether I would turn, or if I got hit by a wagon and you see me like spin onto the thing, I tried to incorporate like a spin into. People are gonna be like, "Cooper, you're never working again. You're a jerk." But
And you'd be like, hey man, every day is your last. Let me twirl.
that's really not relevant to anything. I just thought I should share that. I've tried throwing a spin in every single episode since we came back. But what it really feels like is because I've been on so many productions, and it ends and it's goodbye, and you keep up with folk, and but as the years go by, like things change, but it never felt like this. Walking Dead has never felt this way. Walking Dead has always been different from everything I've been a part of, whether as a boom operator or as an actor. So there's like a connection that we all have. So that there is something like, it just feels like we won't see each other again until Thanksgiving. It feels like that. It feels like this family that you don't get to see as much. But that's sort of what I was preparing for. So it's like, all right, every moment I have, because I don't know if I ever will have another episode with a certain person. So I'm like, this is going to be a fun day. I don't, I want to make sure we have the best moment. And I think I tried to I tried very hard to make the best out of it this season. But, once it's over, it's a weird, it feels, I don't know, it's like a thing you won't have again in a way. Like, things might be a little different, but with other stuff, but you won't have this again. And it's sort of weird. It feels like not like a breakup, but sort of, like there's like a big thing in your life that is no longer there. Like it's weird being in the, during the summer and not, I was like, this is like, I've sweated the least this summer, I think, than I have in the last, 6 years. This is crazy, I think all the fans, I think we, that feeling, it's what it's like, it's like, wow, there won't be more of this. This is such a goodbye. And so just sort of getting used to like, going to anything else is weird. It's a weird feeling, but yeah, I tried to make it all, I tried to make every day as best as I could. And I enjoyed every moment with everybody. And the reason I bring up the spin is because I'm like, all right, I want, this is going to be fun for me. I'm going to like, no, I didn't make a point out of it. I didn't say it to anybody. I'm saying it now for the first time, but it's, I was like, yeah, I definitely tried adding a spin into everything. Like when Ezekiel, like, when we find out he can get the treatment, I do like a clap and spin. They may have cut it, but I'm like, I think they're trying to cut out my spins, but I'll get them good.
Or hey, if you can get into the oh god, what's it called? The bonus features, the commentary, where when it comes out on DVD or on Blu-ray, you can do the commentary and it'll just be you going, "There's my spin. There's my spin. They cut my spin in this episode. Should have been there."
Yeah, we'll just put a bloop,
Yeah.
Cooper, it'll just say Cooper spins. Boop, boop. Yeah, I mean, I speaking of which, I mean, I don't know if they do this, but I really hope, since I've gone on the show, I really hope like we can have like extended episodes, like because there's a lot of scenes that have been shot with other folk, and I'm like, ooh, I would love to see that. I really would. I think it's like extra like few minutes each, I'm guessing, but it's yeah, and then I can do my commentary. Oh, I did a spin there. I felt like the slow spin was necessary because of the the gravitas of the scene.
Streaming is the way to go. Obviously, everyone's doing it. You got Disney, you got Prime, you got all that fun stuff. But I feel like the extended versions, the bonus features, things like that is what makes the DVDs special. And I'm someone who grew up in that era, you know, with DVDs. When a movie comes
Oh
out
yeah,
or CD comes out, you buy the physical copy.
you still need that. Like, I mean, Lenny, Lenny talked about that all the time. When it came to music, he's like, uh, I can't have a digital thing. I need to know I have it right here in my hand, in my possession.
I'm the
Like,
exact same. I have to be
yeah.
able to
So
hold it or it's not mine.
exactly. I mean, like, same with movies. There's some where I'm like, okay, I'll save it on here, but I like knowing I have a physical
Yeah.
copy of it just in case all my streaming services decide to like not like internet or whatever. I don't know.
But yeah, so going in, I am a nightmare to talk to, by the way. I'm so easily distracted and led, so we could be just going.
Oh, I get it. I get it. No, I'm with you. I'm on the passenger seat. We're good.
All right,
I'm looking at your chair though. Is that a chair? And then you have this knitted thing on it. It just looks awesome. I like the chair.
It is. It's
chair.
it's a gaming chair, but it's a knitted blanket. Thank you so much for noticing. I stress knit. That's a thing I do.
Oh.
For real, yeah. And
Yeah.
I decided 2 weeks before Halloween, I wanted to knit a blanket, an entire blanket. And I gave myself that deadline, and I made it. I got it finished the day of Halloween, so
That's amazing.
Thank you for noticing, my dude. It made my bloody day. I'm like, yeah.
I can knit, but I can't purl.
Purl is just knit,
Or I
but
can
like
purl,
inverted.
or I purl, I can't knit. There's one with the purling, and then the other way. I can't do the other way. Everything starts curving up like a bowl when I make a thing.
So
you know what I'm talking
everything
about?
everything just ends up being like a hat or like half a shawl.
Like shape. Well, I mean, no, I don't get that far. It's more like a half yarmulke, but like,
And then you just give up.
there's no. And then I'm done. And then I'm like, I tried. Hashtag Cooper doesn't know shit about knitting.
There's purl or just regular. I can't do purl. I think both of us are we're just hopeless as each other.
We'll do a video. Let's do a 5-hour video of you showing me how to knit.
And we can speed run it.
Yeah, you'll just see the bowl getting bigger.
Right.
And we're back.
There's been certain moments with Jerry that I think stick out more so than others. Some moments that have really stuck out to me have been moments that he shared with Aaron. I feel like the two of them together this season, they've had a lot of scenes together and a lot of like impactful moments. So you had the complete flip side of the coin to earlier where we said that we saw the softer side to Jerry. We got to see the more twisted, kind of demented side in Out of the Ashes, where they're questioning that poor Keith. They're questioning him. My God, what they didn't do to that poor young fella.
Sorry, Brad.
I mean, my dude, that was a different side that we hadn't seen. It was needed. I was kind of on your side too. I was going a bit crazy with Aaron. More recent and my favorite was Variant. Right?
Oh, yeah.
As viewers, it's always exciting to get new stuff. And like, Greg always talks about that, about making the zombies or the walkers new, coming up with different ways. But the variants, that was the way it was done as well. The door handle, you had your man climbing up the side of the thing that you were sitting on, and then he picks up a rock. That's taking it to the next level. That's above smart. That's just menacing. So what was that like for you guys, like, to have to deal now with this, like, as actors? You've dealt with walkers, whisperers, but then you have this new craziness thrown in.
Oh, I mean, exciting. I mean, is the first one, because it's always like, this is what's going to be. I think this is what we're going to be seeing in our, in the Walking Dead world. Is more of this. And I guess when we compare it, because I was one of those people. I'm like, what happened to those guys breaking the windows and stuff? Like from season 1. I'm always, and
exactly.
And I just liked there's such a difference from when they're in the department store, or when we see Morgan's wife, turning the door handle
and looking into the little eye hole thing. You can see her peeping.
Yeah, and it just felt like, exactly, and just us sort of our version of that was kind of fun. To me, it was like a nice little. It was a throw because it's different, But here we are, locked in a house, surrounded by walkers, and I broke that door. I definitely broke that door. Like, I kept limping. I did the whole rock thing, stick the rock in your shoe thing, and I had one that looked like a I can't think of a Star Destroyer. It was like
Hmm.
shaped like a triangle, and I just stuck it in my boot. And so everyone's like, just pretend, put something like a rubber eraser in there. I'm like, everyone's been doing rocks. I can't be the guy that doesn't do rocks. It was something Andy did, and then Kari did it. Well, I mean, I'm sure everyone else did it. I mean, the Seth does it. Like I was just like, all right, well, these guys are doing it. Monty's like, you can just put something soft in there. I mean, I get it, but put something that won't hurt your foot. Like, this is how it is done. He just cavemaning my way through it. But yeah, no, we broke that door, and it just felt one. I always love being on a new set. And that's why I was like the cave episode was fun, and like the movie theater and stuff like that. I always get to go to these I love being on new sets so much because it's a new character. There's a new personality that is showing up, and now we have to bounce off this thing. And the Renfest was, we went to the Renaissance Festival. It's held during the summer, like spring to summer, and I was there. We were shooting like a feature. It was like a Zelda fan film, like a feature length Zelda fan film. When I was like 18 or 19, and we go in there and we're just stealing all these shots with our link, just with all the people dressed up in rent fair clothes. I mean, it's completely, not really allowed to do that, but it was cool thinking about that being one of my earliest film memories. And then, 18 years later, we're at the same place. We have it to ourselves. I can break a door. I think it was our door anyway, but like, I didn't mean to break it also, but yeah, it definitely split. You could see it drop. That wasn't like a thing they added. That was just thing breaking.
That was just all you.
Yeah, I could break doors myself. No big deal.
I do my own stunts.
Yeah, exactly. And but it was also just that group. I mean, like you said with Ross. I mean, Ross and I. I mean, he's such a great friend, and we've just had all these moments over the years, and then all the time we all spend with each other. So, I always thought of them before this. This is why that scene was so jarring when we have the antlers and eats his hand and everything, and then you could cut it off yourself or we'll do it. I mean, I'm like, surely we can help with this. It was a big jump. Except I'm also thinking, we just got there. I am now look at all the people that were wearing Kingdom armor. I've lost enough. We've lost enough of our folks. So it's when I see that as an attack. So all we're seeing is our home completely destroyed with bodies of our friends that we just had to kill. And then we have to go into, then we go and charge this dude, and I was like, man, would we do that? But I still feel like there was just an anger that we just couldn't let go of. But yeah, it was a very dark turn. Yeah, I still think in moments, I think there was definitely guilt. I think we had definite guilt at the end of that episode. Or at least I was, I hope that came off because that's how I was playing it. I didn't want to look at him. I was so shamed in what we did, but I also, I don't regret it. He still has his life, and all our friends are dead. Your hand is like a small price. I think we're able to make a justification in it, or Jerry was able to make, peace with it in a way. But it was a very, like I said, when I'm pulling that rope, I'm not happy about it. There's no joy in this. I'm like, dude, just tell us, come on. Like, why are you doing this? I don't want to see that, but I know, we're only as good as our word. So if you don't believe us, we got it, but I hate, I definitely did not. I liked it for the character, for sure. I liked how it was going, but I definitely felt like shit doing it. I was like, oh, such a nice guy, too. That's so nice. I'm sorry, man.
You're feeling secondhand guilt on behalf of Jerry.
Yeah, but there was also this funny moment because the same Walker with the antlers in him, his teeth were like so perfectly white. And so he has to keep doing the blood thing, but if we had to do a rope adjustment, it just slowly got like
clean again.
He swallowed it, so he's like these perfect white teeth, and you see Greg running in like he's riding a horse. Greg, he's like, you got the blood on you? Here, just put this, just making sure it's all right. But like, I miss those moments. I miss like a lot of those little Greg moments of it goes. I don't know. It's like you can see him from the beginning. It's like I do this because I love it, you know, and he does. But it's always like it's like Greg. They have people for that. It's like no. It's like you know someone else could do that. It's like he has to do. And there's a lot of that element that I just love so much on our show. You know, it still feels like a playground in a way, in the best way. You know, and it's yeah, a lot on that. You know, there's a whole lot on that episode. You know, when I think about like we did a lot of horse stuff. I remember like pulling the carriage around and I was like, no, they took it out. I got that turn so good too. I hit the mark and everything. You should have been galloping. It's like, well, safe speeds.
When you got your leg totaled,
yeah,
that was the same episode, wasn't it? That was Variant. That bloody cart. As soon as I saw it, I was like, listen, it was just bad news. As soon as I saw the cart, I was like, I don't like this. You're bringing a cart off-road into the forest?
Oh, yeah. I think Jerry, and that's the thing. I think that's what Jerry was saying, you know?
Yeah.
We could have been eating some delicious food right now. But again, it's that same pain that drove us to, you know, getting that Whisperer's hand bitten is that same fire that Aaron has to get us to, you know, to get us to Oceanside. You know, it's nothing can be, you know, it's always there. And I think I loved how we did that scene because again, same thing. I think there's definitely a guilt in Aaron, you know, like trying to rush me, and he's angry at himself. He's not, and you know, it's just, I don't know. There's a lot of guilt in us trying to, you know, deal with it. But yeah, getting hit with the cart, like I said, that stuck the whole, you know, I had to put a Star Destroyer in my shoe for that. But I liked it because I'm also thinking, okay, well maybe Jerry would just go take out all, you know, 100 of them. But since my knee was hurt, you know.
Exactly, they had to hinder you.
Showed when I was against that wall, and I don't know if it showed it well, but like it was great because it just happened to work out this way, and then we just kept repeating it. But I would keep sitting on my sword, so I was sitting on the sword, so I couldn't pull it, and I couldn't lift myself. I always like scary comical. It's like you're gonna die because you're sitting on your own sword. You know,
the
like
stupidest reason.
Sort of, I love, you know, like in the cave I mean, like in that cave, every time we played it, I'm like, this is it for me. This is it for Jerry. You know, like I wanted that fear to be shown, and then like, and the reason I love the dude so much is because normally when something's falling or something bad's about to happen, I tend to do this. Dude. I felt like that addressed my friend. He realized 3 times it's serious. Came in with his spike arm. I mean, but yeah, and that was one of my favorite episodes. That was one of my favorite episodes we've ever shot, just because again it was new threats, new town, and then you know the journey that from there that we all go on gets more intense, and it's like, damn, you know, this is a terrible trip.
Yeah, that kind of was the jumping off point where everything started going a little bit rickety afterwards. So yeah.
I mean, but I loved it. I mean, I loved doing that. I mean, same when we in the original finale episode of season 10, where we go through the 16 in 10/16, when we're in that space chamber, you know, we're all gutted up, and we know we're filling up the chamber with all the walkers, and then we're going through it. That was it. Like I was doing this thing for Greg, the slow door turn. But I knew what he wanted. But he didn't say do that. But like I'm like, oh, are we hard moving this thing? And I'm like, just super cautious, you know. And it's always a fun line to draw where it's like, okay, I'm trying to give this the horror movie feel, but I also need to make sure that this, you know, that my intention is truly of like someone that is just trying to be super cautious, you know. So, but like having both things of the image and trying to make knowing the image we wanted, and then trying to make that little justification for so many things is the most fun about doing like a horror thing, because I don't know, like shots just stick out, you know, and I just want to remember like certain shots. And again, just, you know, la-di-da, Aaron and Lydia having this beautiful conversation talking about love, and then it's like,
yeah.
I just wanted to see the fingers go like ooh, and then reached,
What
like
are we talking
reached
about?
over.
A lot of people have been saying it about this season that the gore is gorier. It looks wetter. It looks redder. The sounds of
Oh
people
yeah,
being eaten, and then you have
the sounds have been crazy good.
they
I've been,
have they've been super hyper realistic, and then like you said with the horror aspect, you like The Walking Dead has always been tense, but there has been moments, particularly this season, where it feels like it's been kicked up, where like you said the
yeah.
hands coming up or the doorknob turning or small moments like
Oh yeah.
that. They unnerve me because I don't have a very I love horror, but I don't have a very good like threshold for being tense. So if I'm playing horror games or watching a horror movie, I will speed run. I don't do slow and steady. I will just barrel into the room. So those extended moments, like you said, where it's drawn out, you're reaching for the door. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, just open it. Just do it and get out.
And I'm not, when I say like go, so I'm not going slow to go slow, but it's just more like in my head, I'm like, what can I do to? So when I say like, what can I do to make that image work?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, they can hear you. Don't go too fast. They're hearing you. They're hearing you. It's easy, slow, 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 slow. Okay. All right, and we got it. We're good. We're good. We're good. And we're just gonna, all right, no breathe. And then so that's like sort of like a, it won't be maybe that, it won't be that fun in my head, but it's something to that. It's like, okay, like make sure they can't hear you. Like the things that are like, they can't hear you through that door or whatever, but
It's the
uh,
psychological side of it. Of
yeah, yeah. And it
yeah,
just makes it fun. I mean, I think everyone that watches, I hope we make it so that like to me my favorite shows are the ones that like personally for me are the ones that make me want to make a show,
mm-hmm.
or like that, like, oh, I see this, it's like, oh, I want, it inspires me in a way. And so like, so when you see these old classics and everything and you see those moments, those tense moments, it's like, oh, I want to be able to do that one day. I want to be able to, have a good moment like that. It's just fun to have it in there. But yeah, this whole season, I've actually really digging this whole season. I really like the Commonwealth stuff. I like the change because it's like what's being said, but the whole time it's the show. The Walking Dead is a show about what do people do when they're put to the test, right? Like, what would you do? It's just you versus the world. There's your bank account, your card, none of it matters.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter whatsoever. It's just you versus the elements and being able to work. And Commonwealth takes that away from people. Commonwealth makes you. They put you in. They take someone like Princess and make her sell records, and it's like, okay, she can be doing a whole lot more. And
yeah,
it just sort of, that's why I like it, because it's going against everything, all our instinct, all our survival instinct over the last like 10, 11 years now in that world is now being brought to question. And I love that we're seeing how everyone, even though we're going back to the way we were, we are not those people anymore.
mm.
And that's why I like this season. It puts into questions like, how ready were we able to accept this form of rule, where everyone does their thing, and it keeps this like, do we want that old world, and I love that that's sort of being, I love that question sort of always in there. Is this actually better? um I mean, when you think about it, you look at like the moment with like Sebastian, you know and everyone just going out, that's like a walk in the park for any of our survivors. All of us would have been like, what? It's what? I mean, but seeing like the chaos it causes, because these people have been protected.
Sheltered.
The story that our characters have, that our survivors have, the bond that they've built over the years, um, it still shows how they are. Like, I say this, everyone that knew Rick Grimes, everyone that has been affected by him in some way, whether it's they were affected by Judith, or anyone that knew him,
Mm-hmm.
I always feel like um, you've been given like an extra, there's like it's like the whole theme of this season, right? It's like we are all our experiences, they're shared with each other. We like, um, sorry, that's Shaw. He's like, what are you wearing for Talking Dead? I don't know yet. I don't know yet. Maybe it was really. But yeah, just seeing everyone put to that, that's my favorite part. These characters are different. There is a special uniqueness, and like, think about Beth. when she was in that hospital. It was just her by herself, and she created a little mini revolution in there,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that and just like she herself, you know, every time we just have, you know, I mean, it was Yumiko, Princess, you know, Eugene and Ezekiel, just the four of them, and they're able to make it like it's our way of like, I don't know, it's there's something special about the survivors, and I love that, you know, that aspect about it. I don't know. Like I said, it's, you know, every now and again it always feels like we're superheroes in some sort of way, and then it's like, nope, we're very real and we are very vulnerable. But it's those little moments where it's, you know, we're all this one family, this one, you know, we come from these same hardships. You know, it's I don't know, it's special. It's the same way I feel about the actors. You know, every actor that's been on The Walking Dead, like it's always, you know, there's always like, yeah, I'm on the walk, physically is beating the crap out of me. You know, it's like it's, you know, it's like, oh wow, there's, you know, it's so hot. Oh, we're running 15 takes. Oh, you know,
Bugs.
it's everyone's like, Cooper, why do you hate running so much? I remember having again in that season 7 when I'm holding Logan, and I'm the one carrying him, but like Lenny and Kari, like, yeah, let's do it more. I'm like, I'm the one lifting this 150-pound dude. You guys have like a shin and like an arm. I'm like, every photo just shows me carrying him, and we just sprinted up and down that thing numerous times, and then we it never got showed. It was never on camera. I was like, oh my.
Oh,
But I love that. That's not. I get it. But it's always part of the. All right, we're gonna work really hard. We're not gonna see it. Let's do it. You know, when we're chasing Alpha, I always laugh about this. We're chasing Alpha, and we're just running across, like, you know, like a football field length. I used to felt like a football field length, like little potholes and little ditches, and it's gonna be like a 30-second shot. We're gonna use all of us just running from behind, from here with our, like, my knee pad falling down, people's weapons flopping about, and then we do it, and then they just use the very beginning and the very end, and it's like, yeah, you know, that's
so you
my,
film
you
that
know, but
whole
there's,
you film that whole Lord of the Rings Gandalf running across the field style scene, and it's not even
yeah,
used.
yeah, exactly. It's just like, so it's funny to me because it's like, it's a great shot, needed it, but then that's why I'm like, oh, I can't wait for you know, the bonus. I hope they do one where they extend all the episodes. But yeah, it's everyone that's been on there. We've been, you know, through. It's a different show, you know. And every show can say that, but ours, there's a bond every time. You know, I remember meeting Bernthal for the first time a few years ago, and just because we're like on Bernthal's super cool and super nice, but like just having that, there was like, oh, so you get it. You know what it was like? Yeah, ooh. You know, and it's just a shared, you know,
Yeah.
it's a shared, you know, it's a shared moment, you know, that we all have. It's like, I don't know, it's like alumni, I guess. The
Yeah, but
Walking Dead
it's
alumni.
crazy though. After 11 seasons, you do kind of. I mean, I can't imagine the bond that you would form with people of a show that has that much history. But like you said, you know, people coming in and out of the group along the way, meeting new people, taking them on, bringing them in, saying goodbye to some other people. Whenever there's an introduction of like new communities, like the Commonwealth or like anyone, there is that knee-jerk reaction of like, yeah, but our group is better though. Our group will out survive
Yeah,
ye. You're gonna fall. You're not gonna last. We will be fine because we're survivors. And
exactly.
I think you see it too. Even though I love the episode. I think it's called New Haunts. It's the episode that has the Halloween fair, where you see everybody
Yes.
kind of you dressed up, and there's, you know, the kids are running around. Halloween's my favorite time of year, so I was living. But it was lovely getting to see that sense of normalcy in the show. But at the same time, it's like, you guys are in the apocalypse. Why are you fancy dressing? Why are you celebrating Halloween? There's that kind of
Right.
tension, you know?
It's a lot like it's a lot like the other communities, same but different. But this one, I feel like, try to get closest to it.
Mm.
Um, but it's a whole the whole Commonwealth. I mean, I'm just thinking about this now, but it's that blissful ignorance. You know, it's the idea that like people don't want to be involved. People don't want to know. You know, I feel like to know that all these people went disappearing and no one said anything out loud,
No
and
one
you
noticed.
know, yeah, no one noticed. It's like, oh, you noticed. You just no one, everyone's
Yeah.
too afraid, and that's the thing. No one like our characters. I mean, you know, whether we fear death or don't fear death, we are prepared for it. We all have this odd preparation for like this goes down. This is what we're going to have to do, and when you have that in your head, you sort of know what your priorities are, and we're going to die doing what's right. I mean, are we allowed to talk about like up to this past weekend on this or
23. Yeah.
oh you're talking up to 23?
Well,
Oh,
the
okay.
most well, it came out on
Yeah.
AMC premiere yesterday, so I watched
Right.
it today.
Yeah.
I'll put a spoiler
Yeah, I
warning in
watched it.
case
Yeah, yeah.
anyone hasn't seen it. Don't worry, I'll put a spoiler warning. Yeah, you're free to talk.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, well, actually, I was gonna talk right before it when Kari is like, he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I don't know,"
Oh God,
and
yeah.
like that was the whole point. That was the difference of, and I think it would show in my mind. I might, it's something I'll probably say again, but this is something that shows what Ezekiel would have done in the lineup. I think it would have been all of us. I think we all would have been like, "You're not going to take what we're not. None of us are going to sit. But if you're going to kill us, kill us."
Mm.
Like, but we don't know. We never know. But to me, like Ezekiel, Ezekiel's my favorite leader. Obviously, he led with hope, never used fear.
Mm.
Um, it was a person who wanted to understand his people, not try and control them in some way. Let them live. Let them be. Um, and having respect for all of it, even a life that has taken everything from him. And it's such a easy thing to say. Let's just forgive Negan. I think Jerry has, but no one should have to,
Yeah.
because of Negan. We lost all these people. So when you see Ezekiel, you know, putting his arms up and just we can be better, we can do better. I don't know. I was going somewhere with that, but man, I love that moment. To me, that's what kingdom is. It's like if you can't fight, and that's the difference. Yes, thank you. Coming back, if you can't fight for the worst person of your group, but it's your group, if you can't fight for them, then you can't fight for anybody. So when you have Pamela, who's telling everyone to protect the city, or protect the estates,
Protect
you
her
know,
house basically, and the
yeah, especially in my house. I'm like,
extra guards
that's some
at my
silliness.
door.
That's the difference. If you're not willing to stand for someone you hate, who's part of, or anyone, that's the difference between, how our communities work. Negan, the worst of us, as I mean, by his words, the like,
Mm.
and he is but he was willing to die for everybody. He was willing to take that for everybody,
Mm.
and it wasn't out of a spiteful, prove you wrong kind of way. It was just truly because it was the best option, and it was how he would do it. And so even he is willing to take it, for everybody, for a whole group of people that hate him. As far as he sees it, he knows everyone hates him.
Mm.
And the fact that he's willing to take that, but then again, Pamela is, like, not to mention who she shot, and just her whole, like, protect me only. It's that's the difference of our groups, and it's also a show of, well, this is what happens when you put her in a safe community for 10, for the entire time. This is the, like, not prepared for what's about to come, while we have our people who you know know how to adapt. Yeah, it's a very, I don't know, there's a lot of fun in that, and just in how what makes our world different from theirs. Anyone can be anything, and with the survivors, and you could, as long whatever your past job history was. I mean, that's a you know commonwealth way. So sorry.
I think no, I think you hit the nail on the head with that. What you said about Negan. When it comes to shows and franchises, whatever, I like looking at how people handle the villains, how they handle the bad guys. What do they do with them once they've done their thing? Do you go on the
Yeah,
redemption arc, or do they just stay evil, or what? But I think like with Negan, it shows like obviously Pam is the villain of this season, and that idea of like the upper echelon catering to themselves, looking after themselves. At the end of the day, they'll let everything burn. They don't care about you. And I think you see with our, like you said, our group, the survivors, there is a love there because they have been down in the dirt together. They've had nothing together. And I think with Negan, it's just been interesting watching him, watching how he navigates with the other characters, like you said, where he goes like, I know you hate me. Like, I know that. Even though there's certain characters like Jerry who have somewhat forgiven him. But I've loved what they've done with his character. And every time you bring up Negan, or you say you like Negan, or you like the villains, there's always this automatic pushback from people that's like, no, he's a bad guy. And it's like, well, yes, but there's like light and shade to every character. A bad person can still do good things. It doesn't make them a good person. So
Right.
I think it's interesting what you said, that Zeke would stand up for even the worst of our group because he's still a part of our group.
And I mean, I could extend that to as far. He might just do that for anybody if he sees
Mm.
the right or wrong in the decision. You know, I mean, that's the thing about, you know, Ezekiel, was that was always his way. You know, and I love it. He's like, I'm not going to let this, you know, for the time we have left, I'm not going to let this poison my mind. You know, I'm not going to let this anger hold me. You know, it's years, and I think, and honestly, I think, you know, Jerry, who lost a lot, but not as much as, you know, Carol and Ezekiel, but still, who, you know, all his friends, people he knew through that. But in how I've always played it was, you know, we don't really, you know, we don't, you know, all those things we don't see, but in season 8, after Rick slices Negan's throat,
Mm.
it's Sadiq and Jerry that are over there. And I'm like, if there's ever a moment Jerry was going to do it and kill him, it would have been in that moment and just finished it off, you know. And no one would have argued that. I still feel like, you know, maybe up until these last 2 episodes, but I always felt like if someone were to shoot Negan in the town square, just kill him cold blood, no one's going to go, why did you do that to Negan? I mean, within the world, you
Yeah,
know,
within the
like
communities. Yeah.
anyone could just say, I can't live with him any longer. Do it like what he did to us. You know, no one's gonna be like, hey, you were wrong for that. But these last, you know, seeing him do this, I don't know, was definitely, I think, changes my mind on that for sure. But the way Jerry sees it, you know, he could have killed him then, finished killing him off, and then the guy did 6 years of being in that room alone. You know, like
Yeah, the
that's
cell.
just in that prison alone. You know,
Mm.
that like the guy did his time, whatever it is. He's not doing it anymore. You know, and so it was actually, you know, I'm eating that apple when I see, you know, when I see Negan, when I come, hey, what's up, man? You know, it's
Yeah.
it's an odd moment because Jerry's like just in sort of like this good mood, um, and I just remember thinking, you know, hey, what this is like? It's like this is great. This is a protest. This isn't like we had people with dead skins like trying to blow us up, with tree sap. This reminds me of the world I once knew. It's a happy moment. It's like terrible stuff going on, sure, but like in Jerry's mind, it's like this is a little bit of that normalcy that's just not scary anymore. It's not a
Mm.
it's a very because these are people that just again we go by action. Um, but yeah, I remember Greg going, "Really, Cooper? You're gonna be eating like Jerry's gonna be eating an apple during a protest?" And I'm like, "He's not protesting," And then and then get to Jeffrey and just be like, "Hey, man, what are you doing here?" Like just this casual convo. But that's so I actually had to like that. That was a thought. There was like how like I've never had a dialogue. I've never really had a dialogue with Jeffrey, and I like or with Negan. Jeffrey plenty, but like
Yeah.
this was which is so weird. I'm like, is this our first time talking? Like, it's and it's a fun moment because again, Jerry is the one who's gonna know where Carol is. It's
Mm.
he always keeps that eye on her. We learned that. It's like, why Jerry? It's like, well, if you think back in Divergent, Jerry knows where his people are. Well, until he goes on a trip. There's a lot to think about for me in that moment anyway.
Mm.
You know, but again, yeah, it's when you see the Commonwealth, it's like you got lucky with your military. You got luck, like because your ways wouldn't have lasted. Your military is the reason this got to do it. And since she's sabotaging it, the military would have kept working, but she's sabotaging it by getting these distractions going. And all these soldiers are the majority of them are like are fear. They're all afraid, so they're going to do what they're told. I mean, like they were prepared to shoot a whole line of people in Alexandria. They were had
Right.
one guy said had if one person didn't say whoa, that would have just been everyone would have been like, well, they're doing it.
To kind of touch back on something you said about Jerry earlier, is that he does kind of keep tabs on the people that he loves, the people who are important to him, and particularly with Ezekiel, the two of them have kind of gone through the motions together, introduced together into the show. I mean, they both had families, they both kind of lived their own little independent lives. Jerry was there for Zeke while he was sick, but the scene that sticks out to me particularly, it's the scene at the fair where I think it's Jerry's kid has Shiva's collar, and Jerry says,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, give it back," and Ezekiel kind of gives the speech, and he goes, "Your dad saved this for me, but like I think you should have it." And it felt like this kind of passing of the torch moment. You know what I mean? Where it's like he didn't need it anymore, but there's a moment where Jerry kind of looks at him and he goes, "You sure?" And I found that kind of strange because Ezekiel was ready to let go, but Jerry wasn't. Even though they both kind of went through the motions together, they've had the same experiences. So why do you think is the reasoning behind that? What do you think Jerry still kind of clings to that he hasn't let go of regarding any of that?
That's a beautiful question. Jerry never thought of that stuff. No, I'm kidding. No, it's no, I'm kidding. No, it was a big deal because this is a it's not a are you sure of letting it go, but it's like this is you love Shiva. This is all you have. I mean, like he knew it was important enough to go back to Hilltop,
To save it.
you know,
Yeah.
to grab it, and but you're right. It's the reason Jerry gives it to Ezekiel. One is because he knows on the like face value of it. Hey man, I know this is something very special to you. I'm sure there was some other things you'd rather have, but I felt this was the most practical.
This is
All
what I
right, just
got.
in case we find another tiger. But but what it is that collar is what this is the symbolism of the kingdom, because when we first meet Ezekiel and Jerry, and or when Ezekiel's talking to Carol, when it's just Zeke talking to Carol,
Mm.
um, he's like, that tiger can rip my arm out at any moment. Actually, he may have been saying that during the war. Sorry, that may have been in season 8 when he was saying that. But like, um, at any point, Sheba can rip my arm out. I have no control over her, but she lets me. But I know she won't hurt me. It's but having Shiva creates the fantasy in a way. It creates that belief of what the kingdom could be, and it's that it's that fantasy element that we have. It's like the kingdom, which is barracks, but from a different light. And what the collar represents is I call it like the beautiful lie that the kingdom is. It's I cannot control this tiger. He just happens or she just happens to walk where I walk. It
Yeah.
sort of has that kind of thing, but it's the illusion, and everyone plays their part. You know, Shiva, in my mind, Shiva recognized that safety. I can't think to a tiger, but in my mind, Shiva knows that she is safe with Ezekiel. Like Shiva knew that she is safe with Ezekiel.
Mm.
She knows that she doesn't need the collar on her. She can take it, but it helps. She knows. I felt like she knew her part to help create the illusion of what the kingdom is. And when Ezekiel gives it away, it's almost like he doesn't need the illusion. He doesn't need anymore. But giving it to a child, especially one of Jerry's kids, I always wanted to say, but giving it to uh, Ezra, it's like a believe. You remember when a man held the tiger? Like you've heard the stories. This is that it can happen again. It's in my mind, it's almost like a King Arthur kind of Excalibur moment. There, it's like when you're able to wield it, it can be put to use. I think it's just to keep the dream. And I think when Jerry sees that, it's like you are, and then he walks away.
Yeah.
He's away from it too. He's Commonwealth. This is take the family to get some, go pick up a snack and then go home. What a weird concept. This was a fun day of Halloween though. Yeah, there's a lot in that. That's what a wonderful question. I love that question. I hope that.
Thank you. Um, That's why I love doing talks like this, because I know that you guys do a lot of press, you do a lot of junkets, and you probably get
It's
asked
always so
this.
fast. I feel like I
Yeah,
can articulate, yeah, like as well when I do all those because I always get right back to it, but it's always, I go for a walk with her in my conversations.
but no, it's lovely to actually hear someone talk instead of ask a question, 2 sentence answer, on to the next one. And I understand there's a lot of time restraints around that, but it's lovely to just hear someone speak. But with 11 seasons of a show and with so much that you guys have covered, I mean, Jerry himself, like I said, he's done he's done some crazy stuff. He started at the kingdom. You have the relationship with Ezekiel. You have him starting a family, like you said, playing house in a way, going out getting something to eat and going home. There was a scene more recently where you have him scampering up a ladder with a group of kids. There's been crazy moments that he's been involved in. What's been your favorite that you've had to do, or that your favorite moment for Jerry, either emotional or just fun?
Oh man, I mean, when you bring it up, that the getting chased, and running with the kids thing is always fun. And there's the reason I liked it is because one, it's always, I always feel like I'm the adult joining in on the kids movie. It's like, all right, we got the, like the wacky adult, but he's, to me that's always fun. Who's that? It's like, trust me, we need him, kind of thing. Jerry, I loved how we saw how Jerry got along with people, when he can go to the group and say, little help, and his people are going to create that wall for him. And then when he gets out, he's hiding under the thing, and the woman pops her head out, and he's like,
Hey.
how's it going?
Yeah.
There's this. I always feel like, and I messaged this to Samantha once, and I was like, I really feel like if Alpha met Jerry, she would have really liked him, and she's like, I think so too. I always feel like Jerry has an immunity from like certain people, like that. Just it's sort of fun. I don't know. He is the people person, and like I said, he lifts the cave. He's not the one fighting, all these whisperers, like he can, but it's more important to get people out, and I think Jerry is a shield more than a weapon. And that's why, that's why I like that moment where we see the sword stuff when I finally got to, go a little nuts on there,
Yeah.
is because the reason I liked it, satisfying wise, maybe to answer, it's like that just felt good because I just wanted to do a sword thing
And it looked
once. I've been doing
sick.
swords since like, thank you. Yeah, it was a very like we had it one way, and then they're like, oh, we're gonna shoot in this direction. So I had like 3 minutes to figure out another form, and I did, or thing I made up, and I was like, all right, this is cool. We always see these like, how did Jerry get through all that, or how did he survive that? Like, why is he not like the only injury that like he has sustained thus far is from that wagon because he was following Aaron,
Mm-hmm.
but like in battle, it's, I wanted to show that like he's untouchable in a way when it comes to fighting, because that's not the important thing. That's not the thing that matters. At the end, Jerry's always going to be vulnerable because he's going to stick his neck out to try and get like as many people safe as he can. Like that's what he does. So like to me, the fighting is like it's just cool because like, oh, that's how he survived. Okay, so it's like always slow, 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 pump, 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 pump,
Yeah,
pump,
no,
pump,
he has six
and
skills. He only pulls them out when they're needed. But they're there.
exactly, and everything else is holding that door. He's getting it's lifting that cave. It's running the kids through. It's always about who can we protect, and or who can Jerry, how can he keep people safe? And so I loved that. I loved how the fighting, just sort of writes off that part of it. It's like, it's, oh, that's how he lives and this is what he does. I don't know, that's fun to me. Because to me, Jerry's personality is like, I've said this before, but I think of him as like this big loyal dog,
Yeah.
and he's going to do, like, you can read his face easily. He has no poker face. He's concerned, so he's there. It's like, hey, you okay? What's up? You good? I'm gonna come back again. I'm just hungry. See what you got. But it's, and then there's those moments of like, whenever we're with saviors, whenever we're, in the presence of like battle whisperers, there's just this. It turns into this other thing. It's like he doesn't think of it. I got to survive. Like that's the thing. He's thinking, how can I protect everybody with this? It's not, oh, I need to live. It's how can I make sure everyone else lives? And that's always been a thing that I keep in my head as Jerry.
You said about Samantha earlier. Jerry, when you think about it, he's out survived a whole group of different villains or bad guys. The Saviors, Whisperers, Reapers, and hopefully the Commonwealth. I mean, the finale hasn't aired yet. There's a wide range in there, different, a whole bunch of different things going on. But what's been your favourite villains that you've gone up against in your time on the show that you feel, for whatever reason, stand out or have the edge?
Ooh. We have Negan and we have Alpha. And as far as the battle goes, with Negan, what I loved about it, but was also painful, it just felt like the hope was being pushed. You know, it was being tested. You know, so many people being subjugated, being killed, being taken, you know, just over and over. And it just felt like we're going to get to some super deaths. You know, it felt like, to me, it felt more bleak. You know, and what I loved about the Whisperers, I felt like they took more in a more vicious way. But there's a little bit of a comfort because it felt like your best versus our best kind of feeling to it. You know, it's like it felt like equally matched in a way with Negan's folk, just knowing that like there was such a disregard for life. But had we not fought Negan, I don't know how we would have been able to handle Alpha. You know, I don't know how we would have been able to survive that because we already saw a viciousness we saw that viciousness in Negan, but his code was, all right, if we play by his rules, we're good. And Alpha had that too. But once she took from everybody, once the Pikes, you know, once all of that happened, it changed, you know, doing it to our kids, doing it to like being indiscriminate whatsoever, you know, like to who was being killed, you know. So yeah, I mean, I love them. Yeah, I like them both, but I'm gonna like Whispers. Regardless, Whispers, it still felt like we had a shot, even though like we had to move, we had to hide, the borders were getting, but it just at least we weren't being separated and like forced to kneel down, you know. We died kind of free in a way, if that makes sense. Like they were still trying to control us, but it still felt like with Negan, it's like get on your knees, lose the guns, you like lose any chance you have. And like Negan was more demoralizing, and Alpha just lit a fire. You know, as brutal as it was, she lit a. You know, it just the anger just grew, I think, and you know, it was sort of like we're not doing this again kind of thing. But now that we've handled, you know, when you look at our history, we've handled these, you know, some viciousness, and then it's like, then we're up against the Commonwealth, and you know, we can tell it's just a town divided, you know, when they get there. They're already weak when we get there. It was just sort of I don't know. Oh, it's a good question, you know. But I love, you know, Ryan Hurst, like such a cool dude. I mean, so smiley, like just the, you know, happy, at least, you know, with my, you know, my experience with him, just this happy guy. And Dan and I don't know, I've talked about it a little bit, like, but yeah, Dan and I wrote that song, The Well. Dan Foger and I, we wrote that beta song in like episode 13. I went to the well and the well was dry. But ours and Emily Kinney's, like those were the two the two songs he was singing. Yeah, that was just the day where, you know, Dan and I were driving back from work, and he was like, hey man, should we write this song for beta? What do you think? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And we just started, like, we're like, all right, let's get sort of to a hello, like a Johnny Cash kind of thing. And then we just started, let's hit the record button. And we just started ad-libbing. You know, you just start making up, you know, you just start making it up. But yeah, it's like me and Dan were just in the car, like giggling and laughing and just like telling the, you know, singing this song. Like trying to.
That's adorable though.
But yeah, it was cool because Ryan was like, oh yeah, I'll sing it. And you know, they got to put it for when he's like summoning the walkers, and I was like,
yeah, that's sick.
I was like, that's pretty fun. So it's, or there was one where it was Emily's, and then there was one where it was ours, and it was just, I don't know, it was pretty, like I said, it was a cool moment. So just for that, maybe Beta's my favorite villain. that
No,
we
no
got. He might be my
bias.
favorite.
No bias included in there at all.
None whatsoever. What I love is that every villain is another lesson. We have that thing. Oh, they meet a community. The community's bad, and then it's like it feels that way, but it's always like I think of like I talked about earlier. Like environments are a new character. They're a new element to the scene, and so we haven't seen like we've had a governor before, but not one who's actually trying to be a governor who's truly thinking what's I mean, that's what makes Pamela scary also, is the fact that she thinks she's doing good or she's lying to herself about it. That's the scariest.
Yeah.
When they're just willing to, when she's like, that's not my son's voice,
Oh, come
like,
on. Yeah. I was even like,
I
you
mean,
you don't even believe that bullshit and we all know it.
yeah, it's like we're looking at it, but it just feels, it just feels like, oh, she's just now she'll just say whatever she wants. It feels, very politician-y sometimes, and I'm like, oh, that wasn't it. Oh, okay, I believe you. So it's scary because people are dying with a person who doesn't know what's what. With
Yeah.
Alpha, when people died, it was like you knew she wanted them dead. I feel like there was no unexpected casualty from Alpha. Like she knew exactly like it in this weird way. I don't know if there's any honor in killing people, but it just felt like at least it wasn't neglect. Like we saw it coming, we are able to like face it. Same with like Negan.
Yeah.
They didn't convince her. I'm trying to help you guys. What are you boom boom boom?
Why
Why are you
don't you
making me
love
shoot you?
me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's not. I guess each of them have their different the different things that make them scary. So it's really for any person, it's like, what's scary about Alpha to you? It's like, oh, that she truly believes in this. Negan was always a front, even for himself. He was always a little bit of, it was working, but he didn't have the conviction that Alpha has. The true belief that Alpha would have. She is also, someone that's like, we just need to make a new world, and this is how it is. I mean, she truly believed it. So it's scary when you're fighting someone who's a true believer. It's also scary when you're fighting somebody who doesn't actually care. They just, as long as they're okay, like they don't, like just to die indifferently. Like all those people who have been shot in that lineup with Negan, but he's like no martyrs. I mean, like luckily that guy was smart enough to say no martyrs, or maybe dumb enough, but like uh she wouldn't have known about that. It's just like Judith getting shot. It was just oops. Well, I mean, I was trying to shoot them, not her. She got in the way. That action, that little fight sequence is the complete symbolism of what is happening in Commonwealth itself.
Mm.
Oh, I was just trying to get the walkers to distract everyone to get them off the streets. I didn't think this was gonna, lead to these climbing walkers jumping our walls. It's like whoops.
And you see that shock in her face as well. I don't know what she's doing. Is she trying to clean? She's trying to clean her face or something. It's when she's in her office, when she's told the walkers are breaching the wall. It's just after she shoots Judith. You can see the shock
Yeah.
in her face as she sits and she's like, it's almost like she didn't anticipate that was going to happen, but at the same time, what did you expect? Oh yeah, I only watched that episode this morning and I'm still sour over the Judith situation, and the
Oh
ending
yeah,
it
that's
ending it on that scene, I was like, there's no way they're going to end it, and then the screen cuts to black and I'm like,
yeah. I can't wait to see how it gets wrapped up. Like I know what things were shot, but it's always like what made. I didn't see like all the we don't see everyone's performances
until it's
but
done.
it's like I mean
Yeah.
there's I'm excited to see I'm so excited to see how it all ends for sure. Um,
What I know that you guys finished up at all different times and depending on when you shot your last scene and what was going on. But what was one of the last things that you did on set for you? Not Jerry, not what did you shoot? What did you do for you before you left?
oh my! I was there for I showed up for the last day of filming. I think I was wearing clothes I'd already taken from wardrobe when I left. But I was
I
just like I
love
looked
it.
like Santa. I looked like Santa with 3 bags. I have like pants from like season 8. I mean, I was like, we had to leave some, but I'm like, no one's gonna wear this. They're like 5 years old. There's no, so I took it, and if anyone asked, yeah, I paid.
I love
The
that.
part.
I chatted to Carrie a few weeks ago, and I asked him, did you keep anything from set? And I was like, I would have been ripping up the floorboards. I would have been taking the curtains off the wall. That's all you took. So to hear you be like,
Yeah,
yeah, I was like, Santa.
I was like, take all your jackets, dude.
Yeah.
Take all those Ezekiel jackets. Especially that first season with us. I was like, oh, I love that jacket. Yeah, no, it took I was wearing one of the outfits, and it's the last day of filming, and it was just a big. Oh, it was seeing people still working. It just no, we went out Walking Dead style, and the moment we cut, speeches are had all that, but then the moment we cut, like confetti cannons start shooting out of the Commonwealth, and like there's like lights like it just looks like a
Oh
like a
my
little like
god.
disco kind of thing going on. You can feel I don't know, you can feel like hundreds of shoulders going
We
like
made it.
it's we did it like and it was it was such a there was it was a very you're like wow so we did what anyone naturally would do, and we me, Cassidy, okay, and Callan, we met up with Kaylee at Disney World. We just I was like, you
I
guys ready to
saw
go to
that on
Disney?
Instagram. That was adorable. I was like, oh my god. Like a
We drove.
celebration instead of being sad. You guys were like celebrating.
Oh yeah, we're like, what's the most opposite Walking Dead thing we can be doing right now? And we're like, there's Disney World. Kaylee had and just like, you guys should go to Disney World. We're like, that's a great idea. Um, and yeah, right after we wrapped, we stayed for a little while, and then we got in the car, and then we just drove down to Disney World, stayed there for a few days, and then came back for the wrap party. But it was it was a lot of fun. It was just it was great actually. So people were going around like Cassidy being like her happy self, you know, and I think it got to, what are we celebrating? And she goes, oh, we're unemployed. We're all unemployed. I think that was
Ever the optimist.
it's like we don't have jobs anymore. It was greeted with a lot of like, oh, okay.
Sorry for asking. Alright.
She's like, but it was just she said it so happily, and it was just such a funny. I was just cracking up because it's like, yeah, that's essentially we're celebrating being unemployed. Towards the end of filming, there were a lot of gatherings and getting to spend time with everybody. Just because for the most part we didn't. For the majority of the whole season we weren't doing it, and then I was like, all right, we need to change that up a little bit. This is about to end. We're not going to be living in the same states.
Yeah.
All of us again will not be here together. We'll see I'm sure all of us will see everyone individually, and we'll still keep up. But it's like,
That last
I don't
hurrah.
know. It's sort of like school. It's like we're not all going to be together again. There'll be, I mean, like I guess for our finale, I think a lot of us will be, we'll all be there. But there's it's odd. It's a very every time I watch like shows and stuff, they never talk about the years, and then like, oh, what's it like when it's over? You're always like, oh, so yeah, there's like it's a happy sadness. No, I don't think I don't think any of us said I want to be an actor on The Walking Dead. When I grow, it's like we want, all of us are going to want to do, there's going to be, I mean, there's so much talent amongst everybody. So, go outside for a moment. But man, I feel like we could have gotten, squeezed out 50 more seasons.
I don't know, there's something about when a show has been on that long, it gathers a sort of cult following. It becomes more than just, it's my favourite show. You've met a lot of fans, and from people that you meet when you look at them, it's not just, I love your show. It's different. It runs just a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
And I did, just in the lead up to part C of 11 airing, I did a small little series where it was like, I gave a different topic every week. So it would be your favourite episode, when did you start watching the show? Who was your favorite character? Do you have any art, tattoos? Do you have merch? Have you been to conventions? All these, I gave like 6 or 7 topics, and I put together a little playlist of all people from all over the world, man, all ages. Some of the stories were wild, and like it kind of hit me then that like, oh shit, like so many people feel this. You know, I mean, obviously the show changed
Yeah.
my life now. This is what I do for a living. I do the internet, I do social media, stuff like that. But like, it means so much more to so many other people. And I know that you said when you started that you watched the show before you were on it.
Yes.
So for
Oh
you,
yeah.
transitioning into being on the show, surviving until the bitter end, and becoming a part of something that is like legendary in pop culture, what's that been like for you?
This is just me in general, but like all things, like I feel like it's not going to hit for a moment, but
Mm.
there's a. That's a great question. It's it's this thing we'll never be able to have off of us. You know, we're all, you know, it's, I know it because if I ever saw, I mean, I have TV shows that I've loved for decades. And if I saw any of them now, I would still be like, you know, like, I'd still, I mean, actually, I did freak out when I saw, like, when I would see like James Marsters or something. I'd be like, Spike. Knowing that we're part of this, I mean, everyone knows, I mean, I love movies, I love television. We all do, you know, all of us, that's our thing. But
Mm.
to be part of something that is that bound. I mean, like Ross says this, but I agree. It's like a show won't be like this again, you know, in the way that it is. You know, this, you know, the show that comes on at, you know, on a Sunday, you know, we have commercials, you know, and you wait once a week for it to happen. It's hard to get that on a cable show, and yeah, being a part of that history, and being part of all of it, it's this. You're continually grateful, you're continually anxious. You know, every time I watch an episode, I'm like, okay, I hope this is. I'm always like, I want, you know, I want it to, I want everything to just come out solid. We all do, you know. And it's now that we're getting to the last episodes, I'm like, okay, I hope everyone still seems okay. This is good because it's, you know, this is everything laid out on the table. You know, we're trying to put everything. You know, it's the same thing that you asked earlier. Like in my performance, is there anything different? The one difference is, I guess, it's like I want to leave everything out there that I could have, you know, within that world of the character. You know, I want everything that could have possibly been shown. I want to be able to just be able to give that, and I want our episodes to feel that way. Also, it's like we haven't been able to do this. We're doing it now. I think once that's done and it's out, I'll know how I feel. But right now, I'm still in that mode where it's like, let's see how this went. You know, I'm in that mode where let's see. I hope this came out good. I really want this to be good. You know, so to me, it doesn't feel done yet. I don't feel quite done. Once everyone gets to see that, you know,
Yeah.
that finale episode, and we're all there, I'm then gonna have a big. I think that'll be the last of the shoulder drops for this show. You know,
Yeah.
I want everyone to feel good about it. You know, I want, you know, there's so much I hope, you know, that fans will get out of this. I want them to feel. I mean, so do you go over the? I want to bring this. Do you bring up the 7 questions again? What that you asked people? Just do the first question first. Like,
Oh yeah,
what did you
yeah,
say? When did you start watching?
yeah.
I want
So
to answer that.
oh my god, awesome. So the first question was, when did you start watching it, and who were you with?
Okay, I was watching it. First time I watched Walking Dead was, I think it was right before, it was October of, maybe in October of 2011, when
Mm-hmm.
before season 2 was airing, or it was like right before it was on Netflix. So I watched those first 6 episodes, and I was with my buddy Chachi, whose real name is Jerry, um, but we've called him Chachi for years. And the irony of it all is that now people yell Jerry
At
out in
you.
public, and it's for me, not him. You know, we'll be together, and they're like, Jerry, and I'm like, they don't mean you, pal. You know, and he laughs about that. So and we're eating rice-a-roni and chicken hot dogs. It was the first time I was like, this is what this is? This is what this is? And I also remember, like, again, I read for Melissa all the time. She was a casting
Yeah,
director.
I remember you
And
saying, yeah.
I read for her constantly. And one day, you know, she shaved her hair and she started wearing, you know, the wrap.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh no. But it was just her style. And then and then she's gone one day, and I literally, I didn't realize. I was like, hey, where's Melissa? They're all like, everyone goes, like, let's not talk about it, kind of thing. Like, I mean, I remember talking about it. I came back from an audition, like, yeah, I read it from someone else. Yeah, that really nice lady. She wasn't there. Yeah, she's really cool. And then I thought she passed. I really thought she. And then I see
Oh
season one.
God.
I was like I just remember flipping out and like telling Chachi, I'm like, she's alive. He was like, oh, cool. I was like, no, no, no. I mean, I thought she. I know her. I thought she was dead. Her. I thought she was. I remember telling that to Melissa, like when I saw her. She's like, because of my hair. She was laughing about it. Um, but yeah, that's where I was on the first one. Was that second question?
Question two is, who is your favorite character and why?
My favorite dead character is Shane. He used to be my favorite character because I still think what was so interesting is what if he had killed Rick? Would the rest of the group been like, all right, this is how it is, and would have Shane led them? I feel like Shane was prepared for the Negans. I think he would have. I don't think he would have gotten that kind of confidence, but he may have led the group to another road. But it was also in the fact that this was your best friend in the entire world. You guys go back from what clearly seemed to me like at least high school, at least. But I mean, this is Georgia, so I'm thinking like, we've known each other since we were 3.
Yeah.
From parents hanging out to daycare, elementary, all that. It took this to make them break apart. Because they both, Shane went, he went off, and the world was starting to affect him, but it showed what the world could become. Shane was like a window into what this world could be, of what people were capable of doing and the reasons for doing it. It wasn't like he did it just to survive. He shot Otis to get to Carl. Did Otis need to die there? He could still run ahead. Did he have to shoot him right there? It's like,
Yeah.
but he did it anyway, just to guarantee, just to make absolutely sure there was zero chance that his risk to Carl. He had to make sure Carl lived. So it's like, yes, it was dark, but split decision. He's hurt. That guy's limping. How is it gonna play out? But my favorite character now is pretty much this whole season has been Mercer. He's the reason the Commonwealth holds up. But it's such I say to him, you come in and there's this hard guy, right? But is he really? It's like, if I were to put him in if I was to think of him physically different, you know, it's just someone who's got a little bit of who's just trying to read you and is just trying to make you sure you have a good life, But then there's this other element. We always forget that. He's like, he clearly cares about his sister. He plays shit close to the vest, but it's having to make hard decisions, having to he's always on the line. He knows that stuff with the hierarchy is messed up, but it's but if people are safe, then that's the way it is. Then we're going to keep it. It seems to be working. We're going to keep it this way. It's like him having to make these hard calls while still trying to keep everyone safe. And I just love how he is, unlike Jerry, who can't keep a poker face. He is all poker face.
That's his default. His default is the poker face. You never know what's going on inside his head.
Yeah, when you look at his actions with everything he's done, like killing the guys that led him to to that stash house, where all the walkers were, him just being it's about a team, him really just trying to build up a safe place. His priority has always been the same, and it's we can get distracted in the fear and all of it, but when you look at him for his actions and what he does, he's a really good guy. It's just cool to see. Plus, he's able to pull off an orange stormtrooper suit. It's
there's just a vibe to him, like you said, that softness of him with his sister or him with Princess, as opposed to what he fronts, what he shows everyone else.
Even with Daryl when they're going through it all, he's not yelling at him to be a hard ass. It's you almost got your guy killed. It's I'm trying to make you better.
I'm trying to help you.
He's not trying to criticize. I'm trying to help. Look at me for the help. I'm not trying to do any other shit. I'm trying to help you. And that's a great aspect of his character. And it's about him trying to make his place better. He is trying to better the place. He's not trying to continue the hierarchy. He just wants people to be safe. Come into our walls. Let me make sure you're not a threat, because I want you to be safe. You're here, right? Just answer these questions. I know it's scary, but you need to know that we are not to be fucked with.
Mm.
Like he has that in his mind, and it's to me he has always shown what he is in my mind. Like it's just you see this guy, face value for what he is, and it's like look at his actions, look at his, you know. But yeah, then that when he gets like the time to fuck shit up, I was like, oh my god, yeah,
Yeah, I agree. That was the best. I think you guys get one F bomb per episode. Since you came back, or at
yeah.
least that's what I read.
I
Yeah,
think yeah, I think they got two in there. I think Christian snuck one in there. Um, I think Christian stuck a fuck in there. Time. I forgot when she said it. I just noticed because I had I always have subtitles on, so
me too.
so I'm always like, oh, what, so
Bad
it's
word. The third one is your favorite episode.
oh, favorite episode of all of them. Clucking through, clucking. I mean, it's always going to be the pilot for me. I'll never like that pilot. I mean, like we could go on. I mean, like outside of the pilot, I guess to be fair, and the pilot is like it opens this world. It leads us in gently and also very very forcefully at the same time. But it's just this way of us being brought into it. Was so great just to see these sweaty guys eating fries to going, or to starting off at the gas station, seeing like just being as confused as Rick is.
Yeah.
Like this whole where I was like, whoa, okay, I was gonna try and find some gas, and then the whole little girl thing was like, oh, that's what we're dealing with. Even though we know it's a zombie, just that visual, where it's like boom, like that whole thing like just stays in your head because it shows that anybody can become the monster. It's a very like it doesn't matter where you look; it can be anything.
Even a
You
sweet
know,
little girl with a teddy
um,
bear.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like if you start with only adults, then you're like, okay, but then like, and even Maggie having trouble with the kid in this,
Yeah.
having, it just shows that people are not used to that kind of thing, and seeing Rick having to quickly swallow that pill, you're like, okay, what kind of world is he living in? What's like, he knows what's up.
Mm.
I now think of things in moments, even when I watched it, because I always binged them like as one big moment. It's all like blurred. There's some season 6 stuff that I really enjoyed. The flowers episode is that was another level up on that flowers episode. It's just
Mm.
it's like we're no longer. It's not even just shooting a zombie girl now. She's not even a zombie. It's like now we have to eliminate any because she will probably do it again. She will like it
Or
won't be
worse.
yeah or much worse
Yeah.
and it's that decision. But knowing that like had Carol not been killing the sick people, she probably wouldn't have been able to do this, to her, shoot the
True.
girl in the head.
Yeah.
Or at least it helped it, because it's like you're sick and you're killing us. It's like I'm sorry, you have to die. It's like she's willing to do the things that others can't, and like she's and maybe it's because there's I mean, it's a thought maybe, but maybe there's like I guess there'll always be a blame when your child dies. You're always gonna, especially in that situation, she's gonna blame herself. So what can be worse than having your own child? So it's never rely on others. She relied on everybody to find Sophie. She couldn't do it. Everyone had to look for it except her, and her having to make that, knowing she had to make that change. So, look at the flowers is like such or what was that episode called? It was
Was it the Grove?
yeah, the Grove. Yeah, yeah. Look at the flowers is like a newer episode, but yeah, like the Grove is such it's a big transition for her and a big transition for us as an audience to
Yeah.
be able to like justify this decision, and it's hard, it's hard to think that through. And then later on, we see other moments like that, when we see Daryl and Michonne having to, kill those kids. But to
Mm.
me, that was vicious, but those kids made their choice, you know? And in this world, it's like everybody's dangerous, And there was
That's yeah.
to me, there's not quite the moral dilemma. So that was, to me, that was a great episode. Carl getting shot in the eye, and all the sequencing of that, just seeing I mean, like, I was like, oh, damn. And that's because of Rick, that Carl got hurt because of Rick and those kids' dad. and that family got affected because now their moment of peace, or their thoughts of what the peaceful world was like, is gone.
Mm.
It's been shattered, and they don't know who to trust anymore, and so they're gonna just everyone's the enemy. So it's a very there's elements in so much of the show where it's like I just think of those moments and what led to it. So as an episodes don't necessarily stick out by itself where I think, oh, this is my favorite episode, but there's moments that I'm like, it's my favorite moment with this moment.
No, I get that. I get that entirely. It's kind of the same with me because for me my absolute favorite episode is I group the season 6 finale with the season 7 premiere together, even though they're two separate episodes, but the moment is the same.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
totally get what you're saying by you remember more by moments than chunks or episodes.
Yeah. Oh, those were so well done. Those, yeah, that episode. That whole Negan intro. Damn, that also. That changes everything. That change. If it wasn't for Saviors, you know, it made the kingdom like an easier, pill to swallow. When you think about it, it's like we have people who are dressed like, evil characters from Greece, and that we
Yeah.
can have,
Oh my god.
we can have a production of, we can have a Shakespeare production as well. To me, it's like, oh, I can believe the guy with the tiger. I was able to like, take that
It's
in,
like going
which
up
was,
the layers of crazy like that. Yeah, you got the guy with the
yeah,
bat. The tiger makes sense. Why not?
yeah, we gotta survive. It's like, what do we do to do it? So I like to see the lengths,
Mm.
and the fact that they did well for themselves when you think about it. They all, they survived. Like all these groups of survivors, they all did a weird thing and then kept them going. I don't know if Hilltop was weird, but they definitely, they grew some good stuff.
Hilltop had their
Delicious
moments.
hay.
They did. They had their
Yeah,
weird moments that had you going.
yeah, they had a Gregory.
True, they had a Gregory. Enough said. The fourth topic was, I guess it's applicable to you. It would have been any convention memories with cast or crew. So people sent in like photos or funny stories that they had meeting the cast. So for you, just convention memories in general, I guess.
Yeah, there's so many. Like, even at my very first convention, what was weird was when someone looked at me and they just started crying. I was like,
Mm.
okay, I was like, what did I do? I was like, why? I always, whenever I see crying, I'm like, what's wrong? I always think it's something else happened, and I'm like, oh, they're just happy to be there. So that's always funny. But the conventions were great because how the scenes are. It's like we interact a little bit, but then oh, you're wrapped for the day, goodbye, time to shoot my stuff. There's a little bit of like overlap. Well, these conventions made it so that so many of us got to just spend time with each other. So like that, Ross and I, we've had so many. So many of us, but like he and I have had so many adventures in different countries and states and everything. And then so when we come back on camera, it's like, oh, you guys look like you really care about each other. It's like, this last episode where we're in that RV, and it's, him, me, and Cassidy, like the three of us. It's like, like that whole group. But it's there was a lot of bonding in those last few months, and it was, but so much joking and so much laughs and like, throughout that, like when
Mm-hmm.
we're able to. uh get to those moments, then it felt like it's when you have those happy moments with people that when you see the sadness, it becomes more heart wrenching. Knowing Cassidy is this happy, smiley person, knowing when I think of Aaron, I think of Ross, and I think of like this person that can do all these amazing invitations and is just quick-witted, funny guy. And but but that whole sequence was a very like we were in it that day. There was just the but we're able to take the jokes that we had from days prior, or like the day before prior, and we're able to think this is what we might be losing right now. All of that joy that we had, it could be just like snatched and taken. I'm not thinking about pain. I'm thinking about loss, and which is part of pain, But like if we were to get specific on where that pain is coming from,
Yeah.
it's that fear of losing her. So it's not quite a fear of her dying, if that makes sense. It's like losing this joy, not just, oh, Lydia died. It's like, that's why it's like when we have to cut that arm off, it's like, we have to be able to hold on to, this is going to suck, but we need you here.
Yeah, you guys jump
Instead of
right
her,
through it. You jump straight
yeah,
through
it
it.
was,
You're like, no, we need to do it now because, like you said, it is that
we've learned,
fear. You can't lose her.
yeah, we've learned our lessons in the past. It's like do it, it's like
Yeah.
got to end it quick. And there's a lot of there's talk with with me. There was talk. Ross and I, we talked about who does, because we both have these swords, right? But I'm like, that moment where it's just, I have the heavier sword. It's a tighter thing, but I was like, mine's heavier. No, but the real of it is just that whole interaction that Aaron has to have. It's like, you were like,
You were so
he's able to
loved.
articulate. Yeah, you were so loved. Like, it was, it's a very, I mean, no truer, words in that, within, that moment was, because she is, we all love her to death, and just watching us having to, like, knowing what we're about to have to do, and but this is the second whisperer we've had to chop a hand off, so it was good that we had practice, and that is why we did that episode, so that we knew that we were ready for Lydia.
In that scene, you when he's talking to Lydia, you kind of, I don't know what you're doing. I think you take off your belt to make the thing to go above her arm,
Yeah, the
but then
tourniquet.
you can't.
Yeah,
You turn around. Is that where you're taking out the sword, or are you disinfecting it, or what? You kind of.
I'm so we have it by actually, like, I found some cleaning stuff when I was rummaging through, and I was just trying to,
Ah,
like lacquer it down, but I mean, it had to be a perfect clean because we might risk some infection. So, but you might get a little sick if I keep the blood on the sword. It sort of looks like, it's sort of like, okay, stand back. I'm like just taking off my belt, and this, like, I'm like, that's a funny angle, and then I like, then I get, I get to the sword, and it looks like I'm about to pee on the sword, and I'm like, no, I'm looking for stuff. It just looked, I didn't think that quite through. I just knew that, like, I was just hoping I'd find some one little thing over there to be able to, like, just keep the blade a little cleaned
yeah.
up. That whole moment, and then, like, the goodbye, and the
Listen,
I'm
I know you
in my,
can't. You can't give spoilers. I'm not going to ask you about the last episode. Don't worry. But I swear to God, I haven't posted the video yet. The reaction's gone up later. The rage I felt when your lovely little face turned around and you. I knew it. I was like, we're not getting a goodbye. No, because goodbye is foreshadowing. And then you turn and you leave. I was like, it's fine. We'll see him again at the end of the episode. It'll be grand, dude. That, like you said, it's the final look back. It's where you say, I don't know what he says. He says, like, oh, I'll go find him. I'll come back. It'll be, what is it? It'll be cobbler or a piece of cobbler or something like
Yeah,
that.
piece of cobbler. Yeah, yeah. They had that. There was the yeah, because it was, they had, it was like, I think the line was piece of cake.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is a fun. I got to, I can't not, So that was nice. And I actually brought cobbler to set that day. I made more of my cobbler that day and brought it to.
Anything to boost the morale after a scene like that. I imagine it's very, doing anything like that's very heavy emotionally.
Oh, it was a very, yeah. You get these weird, especially on the heavily emotion. And with me, like, that whole scene, I just wanted to burst into tears that whole time.
Mm.
Like, that's what was. I'm like, okay, that's not what this is, though.
Yeah.
I want, so reining it in felt good because, like, that's what you want to be doing. Like, it, my heart was breaking that entire scene. My heart was like, I mean, Cassidy every single time was just giving it, and, like, every time my heart's breaking. Like, hearing her cry is like, you just want to, like, just chop off more arms. When she's going through that, it's just in your head. It's very, like, it's very distressing because, I have that memory. It's like, it's, hours on these scenes. Hours and hours on these scenes, and I just having her, like, crying and just being this, like, frantic mess. Like, sticks in, stick in my head sometimes. I was like, oh, that was what, I mean, so I loved her performance in that, but I don't know where I was going with this, but yeah, that's, it's, you get this, like, when you're done with the day, you're like, I have to, oh, you need, like, a day to yourself to just sort of, like, just get it all out of your system.
Of course,
Just that
yeah.
feeling, it's a very, because you build it up. It's not like when you're sad, we get to go through the moment once, um, but then your body is making that feeling the whole day. It feels like you're crying the whole day. It feels like you're in this panicked mode for hours, so it's hard to like just come down after that. Sometimes you need to like, games, comedy. I'll play piano for maybe like, I'll start playing piano anywhere between like 2 to like literally like 11 hours like afterwards just to get out of my head. I'll just sit in front of it. But yeah, that was a cool scene. I really did enjoy that one.
That is up there with the scene, like you said, where Ezekiel stands up in front of Negan and Annie. Those two scenes.
Yeah.
And I know they're from more
Oh,
recent
yeah.
episodes, so they're at the forefront of your mind. But yeah, all of you
It's
guys,
moments.
you guys killed it. You got the scene from 23, the RV scene, like you said, the three of you
Yeah.
killed it. Absolutely. And I'm still
Oh,
not
thank you.
happy about how it ended. You just disappeared out the door, and I'm like, I'm not fucking happy about that.
Yeah. And just to make it, I was hoping what Jerry was trying to do is to also move that hurt around a little bit. But I have no clue. I think he just went in there. I have no.
I think he did what Jerry
uh,
does best. He does. He's a
yeah.
fixer. He's a need to fix things. He sees they're trapped. He sees my friend is sad and armless. I have to go fix this. I have to go find our people that got lost. He jumped into fix it mode, and I think that's bang on trend for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. That whole very emotional. That was a very emotional day.
The last question, again, I don't know if it's applicable to you. It was, if you had a message to the cast or crew, what would it be? So, I don't
Oh
know.
my God. Yeah. No. I mean, it'll go with everybody. I'll do it from the fan point of view. Thanks for putting out such a, oh man, to me, the show, I really feel like it'll go through this timeless era. We made like a timeless show. We're able to step out a little bit, and I feel like it'll be one of those things where we look down in 10 years and it'll still feel that same way. It'll still kick in that same way. But I mean, these crew members, I mean, some of them were there from the beginning, like the very beginning. And the cast, I mean, we all know, it goes beyond words, I think, with a lot of the cast. We can say, I mean, I could say so many nice, flowery things about every single person. But again, it's that thing we all did together. Whether it was in different, like I said, it's like that alumni feeling. It just feels like we all went through this thing, uh, this crazy, crazy, insane show, with a premise that's so human, yet we're dealing with something so inhuman. Yeah, I mean, I like to say it's like good job on making history. I think that would sum it up. Is my message. Yeah. But it would sound nicer. I feel like if you read "good job of making history," that sounds kind of sarcastic. It's not. I want
No,
to put
not at
no
all.
sarcasm
No,
underneath.
not at all. I mean, like you said, I love film, I love TV, I love things to take you away because I think everybody needs a bit of escapism. But with this, it was different from the story to, like I said, it just hits. This whole show just hits different. It's changed my life completely in ways. If you told me 5 or 6 years ago what would happen, just if I was to go down this path of talk about your favorite show, like I wouldn't have believed you. Like the most crazy. I'm sitting here talking to you, for God's sake. 2 hours later, we're still sitting here laughing. I met my partner. We got engaged because of this show, and it's nuts.
Amazing! Congrats.
Thank you.
Was there a date set?
Well, between I'll edit this out. Yeah, he's from Kansas, so we're trying to figure out family wise how we're gonna get everyone in one place.
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel like once people fly from Kansas to Ireland or vice versa, then everything else will be cheap once you get there. So it's like once you do the travel, the rest will be like, okay, the flight was expensive, but we got all these homes locked down for everyone to stay. I love road trips. That's my thing, though. Let the Cali people drive you guys, and then there, you guys made the flight, they can do the drive. That's how I would. That's how I would say it.
Yeah, it's just trying to get everyone to one place. Well, Ireland is tiny. If you drive 4 hours in any direction, you're hitting the ocean. That's how small we are.
That's. I cannot wait to go. When I
Dudes,
go, I'll make sure I'll hit you up. Yeah, I cannot wait to
seriously?
go to Ireland. Ireland would be a way better. I like. I don't think anyone, especially from Kansas, I don't think anyone's gonna be upset flying to Ireland. It's like, oh, this would be fun. It's like, why not?
Yeah.
That'd be a good one to do. I feel like celebrating even like a hall there. Like just having a wedding banquet there would be more, more picturesque. That's for sure. You
Yeah.
know, then
Of course, you think that you're not from here. It's
and
magical
I
to
guess
you,
you
and
went
I'm
to,
like, it's boring over here. So I flew over, we went to LA together, and I met his family. And like that, he warned me before I came over. He was like, listen, it's not what it looks like in the movies, okay? And I swear to you, I wanted to take a picture in front of In-N-Out Burger. I was like, it's In-N-Out! I need to get my photo. You don't get it, it's in all the movies. I found everything magic. We did the Hollywood Walk of Fame as well. I dragged him up and down, burnt my kneecaps because nobody told me that was tiles, the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And I was
oh
like,
yeah,
get my picture. Knelt down, burnt kneecaps. It was LA as a trip.
yeah. um, that's always funny to me. Yeah, I mean, like, when people come to Atlanta, I'm like, oh, I don't know if there's much, but I'm like, it's so awesome here. But I keep forgetting, I'm just so used to being here.
I always wanted to visit the set, and I think we were going to try and swing it this summer, but then we ended up just planning a trip ourselves, and now the set's been taken down, or at least Alexandria's been taken down. So I'm like,
Yeah, the wall. Yeah.
yeah, I'll get over eventually, and I'll just sit on the streets and be like, I'll have my In-N-Out Burger moment. It used to be here. The street is so magic to me. You don't get it. That's it. Anyway, for the questions, I think yeah, we ended with a message to the cast and somehow got around to In-N-Out Burger and planning weddings.
Yes, yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah, we made history. Let's go get some In-N-Out Burger. That's right.
Okay, you laugh all
That's
you
the
want, but
gist.
you're going to think of that every time you pass one. You're going to think of, I mean, I was as white as a ghost. I don't do well in the sun and I burn. And I'm there swanning down the streets, reflecting light. People are looking at me.
I reflect light. Oh, that's amazing. I want to say though, yeah. I'm glad we got to talk. I wanted to be able to like pretty much have everything said and done before I came and talked on here. There's like,
Yeah.
because I'm good. That I have this fun photo where Cassidy's like chewing her. She like has the prosthetic in her mouth. But yeah, this whole season we definitely put everything out there that we could. Like tried to hold nothing back, and I think it shows to a lot of people's performances.
Definitely.
Like I really think it. I mean, like I've always thought everyone's great, but there's definitely something in this season where I'm like, oh, everyone. It feels like everyone's bringing it a lot harder than they have in the past. Um,
It's different. There's a
and
weight behind all of your eyes. It's not that it's sad. It's not that it's the end. It's that everything just feels different. You guys, there's a vibe to everybody that it's just different.
yeah,
It's like you guys can feel the weight of what's coming, you know?
right. I think there's gonna be no way to hide that from any of us. We really want to make it like I really want to make it so when we're done, everyone is when this show is done, everyone's gonna be like, ooh, I
Yeah.
want all of us to have that feeling. I want to have that feeling too. So I'll know what it's like to be completely done once we're all caught up. That's the once I'm able to see what we did and
Once it's
uh,
officially over, because you're still kind of in limbo
yeah.
until the finale.
Yeah. As far as that relationship analogy goes, yeah, it needs to be Facebook official. Walking Dead done.
We have broken up.
Relationship over. Walking Dead broke up with me. I could be sharing so many photos. I mean, I've taken photos over the years that I've never shared. I think a lot of us have that, But now it's like
Yeah.
this season I have a lot of video too that I need to. I'm gonna have to upload, and there's so many like fun little behind the scenes stuff we got that I can't wait to show folk. Man, damn, it's done. It's over.
For you, maybe. Some of
That's
us are still waiting.
Oh,
Still
I'm
one
still
episode to
waiting
go.
too, but I mean, it's just weird knowing it's like we're not going, not going back to that. It's a
Yeah.
very like, it feels weird, but it's exciting. I just finished The Wire. I don't know if you've seen that, but like
I've heard of it,
show
but I
that
haven't
Seth
seen
did.
it.
It's incredible. It's incredibly good, and I watched the finale, and I'm like, man, that just ended so well. I was just like, oh, that feeling of when a show ends though, and like this one's so long. We were, you had 12 years. You're a different person. You're a whole generation different. When you got into the show to where you
Yeah.
are now, we all are. It's such a, yeah, it's just been in our head. I don't know about. I mean, like, wherever I am, I'm always thinking about if the breakout were to happen right now, where are my exits? I always have like those thoughts, those little Walking Dead thoughts are always in my head.
You're going to Jerry
Um,
mode.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, how would we get onto this?
Yeah.
Uh, man, I like that knitted chair back too. I just keep looking at your chair. I'm like, I
Dude,
love
I'll
that chair.
knit you one if you want one. I told you I stress knit. I'm in the middle of making 3 different blankets for family members for Christmas.
I'll take it. I'm not going to say no to a stress blanket. I will love it.
They're soft.
I will love them.
You can feel the tears and the anxiety every time you throw it over you. It's awesome.
Oh my God, yeah. All right, yeah. If you're offering, I will send a very nice wedding gift.
I ain't got nothing
Okay,
better to
yeah.
do.
I'm not joking. I'm in. I'm in. I'm not joking. I would love that.
Tell me what
It just
colour you
looks so
want.
comfy.
It is, and it's snuggly and it's soft. You can't beat. Maybe it's an Irish thing, because we like knitted Aran jumpers and like caps and stuff it's a big thing over here. We have like stores for like knitted jumpers. You can't beat one. You can't.
This is the same shirt I wore, but this is the it still has the lining in it. But this is so I'm like, oh, this is a really warm jacket. I don't remember it being this warm, but yeah, we this was like one of the things I took from wardrobe. It was just this is my I call it my Christmas vacation outfit that Jerry wears when he's going on to when we go on that adventure. I was laughing about this jacket because I was like, oh, I want that one. Everyone's like, I know that jacket, and I'm like, and they're like, how did he get that? I'm like, because the Commonwealth, LL Bean survived. LL Bean's doing well in the Commonwealth. But the reason I wanted to say I liked it because it's so colorful, and I knew where we were going with it. I wanted it to feel like this happy little adventure that's about to start, and then it ends up to us getting covered in guts and
It's
people
cut
getting
short.
separated, and yeah, so I just wanted to show like this is the level of fun we're having.
For now.
This is super fun. Covered in guts is the opposite, so I wanted to have that there too. Yeah, then we go eat a bunch of chicken wings and wait for this finale to come on.
Don't remind me. I'm still pretending like it's fine. We still have time. There's still episodes. It's okay. It's not ending. I think you hit the nail on the head with the chicken wings. It's 9:30 here, so I'm probably gonna go make dinner.
Oh yeah, it sounds good. Yeah, it's 4:27, so I'm 7 minutes late to the meeting.
Oh shit! Really?
No, I'm just. That's a 420 joke, everybody. Very sorry. There we go.
Oh.
That's they'll tell you. They'll tell you.
But that was a left turn. But yeah, thank you for chatting, for hanging. Thank you for hanging and for chatting as always. And listen, I know I've said it to you. Seriously, the show, beautiful work of art, and you guys, you have put your blood, sweat and tears and everything in between into it, and it's seen. We know that, and I just want to say, even from me, thank you for dedicating so much of your life, your time, energy, to the show, to either being on it or like this, sitting down talking, doing interviews, or just being a part of it. It is definitely a moment in history for sure, and I appreciate the hell out of you.
Thank you very, very much for saying that. That means everything. And then there's one more question. Sorry. Mm-hmm. No tattoos, but I always feel like as the fan aspect, I have no tattoos, but I do have like little scars on my body from different episodes. When the light bulb went out and like I scraped my forearm on the metal, little nothing bad, nothing like dangerous, but I always felt like that's like a tattoo. That's a little battle scar we got from the show.
You should have done what they did in Lord of the Rings and the Fellowship. All the original cast all got matching tattoos. You should have done that. It's a wasted. I got a tattoo to mark the end of the show, and I'm not even on it. I was like, a little goodbye gift to me.
I think a lot of us will have matching knee problems, so that'll be a good thing.
True. We all have achy joints, bones that don't quite work as well as they used to.
Well, thank you so much. And yeah, I hope to. Now that I have, now that I got you in the knitting thing, we'll talk again.
Man,
soon.
Let me know what colour you want. I'm not even joking. I have balls and balls of wool beside me as a thank you. I thank you for keeping you on for 2.5 hours and torturing you. I'm like, I'll give him a blanket though. It's just.
It's never a torture. No, I love talking about this show.
You can see it. It's beautiful. The love you have for it really is gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, I love art. I mean, it's such a. Yeah. I might go watch a few episodes now.
But yeah, go on. I will let you go and get on with the rest of your day, whatever it is that you're up to. And again, man, I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for sitting and chatting and like that, taking time out of your day.
Thank you very much for having me.
No problem at
And
all.
yeah, look forward to seeing the reactions.
Oh, they're going to be emotional. Oh, just don't say that.
I love watching you cry. Oh, 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 oh.
Good. You're going to get a lot of it. Go on. I'll let you go. Again, thank you so much. Be safe and enjoy whatever it is you get up to. We'll see you, my guy.
Take care.
And that's it for the chat with Cooper. By the end of that, I just felt so chill. The vibes were absolutely immaculate. Do you ever just talk to somebody and it's just chill, you know? It's just talking. Really, really did enjoy that. Such a lovely dude. Like I said at the beginning, some amazing stories. I'm filming this intro and outro the day after I did the interview, so I still feel a little bit like anytime I do anything like this, there is a moment of, did that just happen? And I'm still in that space. So yeah, as I said at the start, I feel incredibly lucky and thankful that I've had these experiences so far, getting to chat and interview the cast. It's been fucking amazing. It's been weird catching up with Carrie and Cooper because they were two of the first I ever did, and they were about 3.5, 4 years ago ish. So it's been really bittersweet catching up and hearing all these new stories and talking about the end of the show and all of that stuff. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all soon.